What was the incident at your high school? When I was a sophomore, it was known around campus that a specific set of lockers that was between the campus and football field was off limits, because over summer break some kids blew the door off a locker with a dry ice bomb in a Propel bottle, shrapnel. 2 years into my relationship with my, now, husband, he starts telling a very familiar story and I realized he was the fabled dry ice bomber my school had been talking about for the past 7 years. Someone drew a 25-foot dick and balls on 2 of the bathroom walls jizzing across the remaining 2 walls. It was found first thing on a Monday morning and was extremely detailed. Someone spent hours on this, meaning they snuck into the school over the weekend for their art project. When I was a freshman, 2004-ish, 2 senior boys snuck into the school overnight and painted giant, coming dicks in every mouth of our mascot's image. Like every sign outside, every hallway, the gym, the cafeteria, anywhere there was a panther image, just sucking giant dicks. They also painted a dick on the assistant principal's car. This was way before that Netflix movie came out, but it revived quite the memories on Facebook. They were ultimately suspended and couldn't walk at graduation. They couldn't walk at all, due to their giant dicks. One of our football players was struck by lightning during a practice and died. What were the coach doing, letting them practice during a lightning storm? Some high school football coaches treat missing a practice like it's the end of the world. They won't cancel unless it's absolutely mandatory, meaning looks like a thunderstorm isn't reason to cancel. There's a chance that student being struck could have just been the first strike from that storm. If it hit anywhere else, only then would they have had to go inside. In an effort to crack down on grinding at mixers and dances, the principal did a school-wide PSA about it. Apparently a common excuse students gave to avoid getting in trouble for it was that, while they may have heard that grinding was against the rules, they didn't know what grinding meant. So he described it, in detail. Then at the end of the PSA, he said that any student who still did not understand could come down to his office where he would use dolls, he held them up so we could see, to demonstrate the prohibited behavior. Hundreds of students lined up outside his office. The hallway was utterly impassable for the rest of the day, and students refused to be shepherded to class by staff because the principal said he would show us how to grind. Teachers joined the line. His idea to fix this was to announce that he was canceling the in-office offer, and instead, we could attend an optional auditorium demonstration after school that day. The auditorium had never been more full. After-school groups postponed activities, even the teachers in charge of them just sort of got out of the way and let it happen. Kids called/texted their parents and told them they had to attend and would need to be picked up later. Buses were delayed, screwing up the busing schedule. It was a train wreck. He did the demo. He got fired like almost immediately. We later found out that he was very unpopular among the staff at that school, and a lot of teachers sort of went out of their way to help the train wreck pile up as badly as possible. He really has no one to blame but himself though. I was at my grad ceremony and this one guy, while walking the stage, pulled his pants down and mooned everyone. Not exactly sure what happened to him, but I heard he got suspended and got his diploma taken away from him. Someone did this the year before me. He had cut out holes in each butt cheek and moon when his name was called. He had painted the year on his butt. Suffice to say, my school was really strict when my class graduated. We had a strict dress code and the sheriff's department patted us all down and checked all of our clothes. Checked all of our clothes? I really thought you were going to say asses. In freshman year 2 female teachers were caught half naked and making out in an upstairs classroom by a janitor while a school play was happening downstairs in the auditorium. Both who were married with kids were fired. They then sued and got their jobs back 4 years later. Perfectly timed their return as they waited for all the kids who were at the school at that time to graduate so no one would remember or talk about it. And within the next handful of years a few more teachers in the same school were caught having inappropriate relationships with some of the students. The school has been nicknamed Horn Dog High by the media for obvious reasons. This school is also known for its famous alumni, Chris Rock, Judge Judy, Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Andrew Dice Clay, among others. Somebody attempted to burn down the school but only half succeeded. They had to demolish the old part of the school where the fire was started and rebuild an entire new wing. Bright side was we got the first 25-meter pool in the county. You heard it here first, kids, burn down your school, get a new pool. My money is on the principal doing it for the insurance money so that he could give the kids in his school a pool. In elementary, 3 sibling boys died with their dad in a plane crash and their mom opened a children's center in their name with a game room, music studio, and a ceramic studio in their names. Jack, Will and Rob Center. Sad and wholesome. A few kids broke into the high school to steal test scores for the SAT just like that stoner movie lol. They got caught and expelled. One was my friend's brother. A popular sophomore girl drowned during a party in her own hot tub, huffing dust off because it replaced the oxygen in her body, I guess, that pushed her under the surface, and her parents found her when they came home the next morning. R.I.P. to Neil. When I was a sophomore, a guy asked a girl to prom by getting on stage wearing a paintball vest with red paper rolled into tubes stuffed in it, to make it look like he had bombs strapped to his chest. He held a sign that said, "I'm kind of the bomb, will you be my date to prom?" She said yes. He was suspended and not allowed to go to prom, and she went with someone else. Lol, it made news, which was just amazing since this was a small town. He claimed the school was racist and that if he were white he wouldn't have gotten in trouble for it. For Spirit Week we had dressed like a historical figure day. One of my buddies is Iranian/Saudi and he had the bright idea to dress as Osama bin Laden. This was in June of 2011, less than a month after they killed him. He got his picture taken by the history teacher and was sent home to change. The next day was Throwback Thursday and he dressed as a giant sperm. Dude was dedicated to his costumes. Lol, he died in a car crash a couple of years ago. R.I.P. Ahmed. Ahmed sounds like a freaking legend. Person broke into the school with a shotgun. No students were in the classroom at the time because it was lunch. Of all people, our old, nerdy, social studies teacher wrestled the gun away and subdued the perp. We were all stunned. This man wore a suit and tie every day. Every day. This was in the mid-90s at a poor black school and the teacher was an old white man. We gave him so much respect after that. It was all over the news. I may remember some other events because we had a bunch, but this came to mind. Edit: I've moved away and have kids in high school, but I googled him and he's still teaching at a school in a neighboring county. His current school has his bio and it says that he's been teaching for over 30 years and prior to that he was in the army. Go figure. Salute to this man. Edit 2, I put he was old because he seemed like an old man to us at the time because he had gray balding hair. And when you were 14 everybody is old. In hindsight he would have been in his 40s at the time. Also, I do not want to dox him by posting a link to the school's site, but he is still teaching and he almost looks the same, just a few more wrinkles. But it would be cool for a news outlet to rehash that day. Also, I don't exactly remember what the perp wanted. I don't have Facebook to post out to the class to fill in the deets, but I will get them from some close friends and post back. Edit 3, after consulting friends and family, we had a good laugh because we all have different versions of the story when we tried to give the full account. Bear with us as this was almost 30 years ago, so memory is fuzzy and people didn't walk around with cameras back in the 90s live streaming. All four of us agreed that he contributed to or caused a student to be suspended by reporting him. A friend or family member of that student came back up to the school with a gun looking for him. A disputed detail was that the student said beforehand that he was going to send someone up to the school. 2 of 4 people agreed to this, and Mr. made a comment like, "Tell him come on, bring it," or something along those lines. Only one of the 4 had this detail.